President of the County Leadership Forum.
Citizens, whether that's upgrading or whether that's shipping raw bitumen. My worry is we don't have a job shortage in Alberta, we have a skilled labor shortage. If we artificially incent upgrading, I think there's a risk that we end up actually making it worse and in fact return less money to taxpayers than if we pursue a pipeline strategy.
Okay, we're going to talk about pipelines. The production level, we have sufficient capacity right now just using rails because we're being blocked right now. So we got enough capacity, the production coming online for 3 more years. In 3 more years, we're going to have a problem. We have to have some pipelines. There are 3 pipelines. We got Northern Gateway, we got XL Keystone, and we have Energy East. Right now, the best project to get things moving is Energy East. We're just going to take that gas pipeline and convert it to oil. We got 1.1 million barrels a day in ship down to Montreal. Now we got to build over to the Irving port with their refinery. That opens up the European market for us. This is a solution made in Canada. As a matter of fact, it's even shorter to go to India from New Brunswick than it is from, say, Vancouver. So that's something within our control. We don't have to worry about the United States. We don't have to really worry. It's right here in Canada. So that's what we got to do, and the XL will fall immediately after that. We got to do it right away. Thank you.
What is your position on the modification of Silver Current's pension plans to closer approximate those available in the private sector? And I believe that's Stephanie.
Thank you. The NDP actually spent a lot of time in legislature keeping the PC government, those who stayed up late at night, in order to filibuster and try and prevent the pension bills that they were trying to ram down our throats and going forward. Overall, we have been successful. Those 2 pension bills were struck down. The NDP is in favor of ensuring that seniors can plan for their retirement, and generally, we can all plan for our retirement. I mean, it's something that even I need to consider, particularly if we're going to do if we're going to do the type of pensions where it's not a defined benefit but defined contribution pension. Then we really do have to start saving our pennies and this sort of thing. Seniors need to be able to count on our government for support.
So the Liberals were part of the group of opposition members. I think they were all staying up really late to try and work their way through the filibuster here. The government's effort to undermine the public pension plans was almost unconscionable in the way they rammed it through the legislature without any real consultation with the people they would impact. So I would be strongly opposed, as were the Liberals at the time, to monkeying with that and destroying the future of people who had counted on their pensions, the public pensions, and would suddenly find themselves being stripped of that. So my position there would be just, it's there. It's something people are counting on, and we can't be taking it away from people willy-nilly, because we're looking for money to try and find money where we can't find it somewhere else.
My answer is I think a deal is a deal. And I think that the other part of the main question about public finance or pensions is we have to ask ourselves what problem we're trying to solve. Through this whole debate and discussion, the government was unwilling to provide true numbers and access to the data so we can have an independent actuarial analysis. That's very hard to say at night after a long debate. So we as citizens could make an assessment, so the people whose pensions are looking to be changed could actually make an honest assessment as to whether or not in fact these changes are required. Do we have a significant unfunded pension liability? Will we in fact be able to recoup that over a relatively short period of time? It felt to me very much like a manufactured crisis for political reasons, which is something we see all too often from our PC government.
a deal is a deal. If we have promised the people who are public servants that they're going to have a pension, then that's sacrosanct. That's sacrosanct for those people who are serving in the public service right now. Now, if new employees are coming on, then that's a different matter and has to be negotiated with the union. Thank you.
Unfunded pension liabilities are a huge issue across North America for most governments. They're not the kind of thing that can be solved quickly overnight. They require thoughtful, long-term, conceptual planning and negotiation with people. But I am not one of those people who is in favor of pension plans being modified. My father was a federal civil servant. As his child and as his son, I wouldn't have wanted his pension to have been modified. End of story.
Alrighty. Folks, we've had not all the questions that we wanted to ask, but we've got a great job on covering. It's time for closing 3-minute remarks, just for everybody's edification, because we trust everyone will respect the time restraints. Sandra will stand at 2 minutes and 30 seconds holding the yellow card. She will sit at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. When she stands holding the red, we're done. So we're going to go in reverse order to the way we started. Are we fair or what? So our first closing comment will come from the Liberal Party candidate, Susan Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the one thing I heard from the residents in Calgary Elbow, in addition to the things we just talked about, is a desire to change the way we do politics. People are tired of the shrill, name-calling style of politics that they've been seeing lately. They want to see civil conversations, they want to see reasonable debates in the legislature, and they want to see this in this campaign as well. And they're right in this, because civility is a sign of respect. Respect for the voter and respect for the democratic process. So I intend to adhere to that principle throughout this entire campaign and quite frankly, as I go forward. So I'd just like to touch now on the issues we've covered as we've gone through this evening. If you care about healthcare and you're worried about a healthcare system that is on the verge of collapse, and if you think that the richest province in the country should be able to provide the best healthcare in the country, and if you're worried that your child is not receiving the proper attention in school, or if you're struggling to pay ever-increasing costs of post-secondary education, or if you're worried about your frail and elderly relatives who are parked in acute care hospitals because there aren't enough long-term care beds or sufficient support to care for them at home, or if you recognize that energy drives our economy, but our ability to get our products to market is hampered because of the lack of an independent environmental monitoring agency or regulations that are inadequately enforced, or if you've been let down by the disaster relief program that not only failed to address the needs of flood victims, but didn't go nearly far enough to ensure that the personal and economic devastation that we experienced in the 2013 flood never happens again. And if you're wondering why it's okay to sell a public park to a private developer and not one of your public representatives is prepared to hear you out or let alone help you, and if you're a progressive voter who is seeking strong local representation that can be effective in the legislature now, not in the next election or the one after that, but now, then I would ask you to ask yourself, do these issues resonate with you? Because if they do, I would ask you to vote for me. As I said, I'm Susan Wright, and I'm running for the Alberta Liberal Party. Thank you.
Embarrassed that they bought into a bill of goods from Alison Redford and the PC government. We all thought it was going to be changed, and unfortunately, once again, the PCs proved us wrong. I'm hearing that people are looking for a progressive alternative. Now, with the greatest of respect to my friend, John Fletcher, that is not the extreme wild rose. My friends at this table will tell you what you want to hear in order to get elected, regardless of whether or not that is their party platform and their party policy. When you're looking for a progressive alternative, you need to look at the party's track record. The NDP has a strong track record of standing up for people and advocating. And with the greatest of respect to my friend Susan, the Liberal Party in this province is not growing, but rather is a dying party. The Alberta Party, with the greatest of respect to my friend on the right, I personally find it difficult to determine what their policy or platform is. The NDP party is the only progressive alternative that is growing in this province, that has a strong track record of advocacy, and that has proven they can stand up for your rights and advocate on your behalf.
Thank you, on behalf of Wild Rose Party, John Lynch.
I've never been called extremist before, so there we go. This election is not a general election. This is a by-election. This is an opportunity to send a message here. You people have a vote. You can send a message to the PC government. Please do so. We have to strengthen the opposition. We work very well with the other people in the opposition, the other parties. I want to continue doing that. I want to strengthen the opposition. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank, first off, the Calgary Leadership Forum again for this opportunity. Thank my fellow candidates for your standing up for democracy. Thank all of you, especially those of you who stuck around through the debate. I've certainly learned a lot through this process, and it's been it has been a remarkable evening. I'm hearing at the doors that the people of Calgary do not feel that after all that's gone on, the PC party has earned their vote this time around, if frankly they haven't in the first place. They don't feel like the Wild Rose Party really fits their values. They don't see that after 90 years of opposition, the Alberta Liberals have a chance to ever really form government in this province. I think it's safe to say that if the Alberta Liberals were going to form government, they would have done it by now. With respect to Stephanie, and I very much admire your perspective and what you've shared with us here tonight. I think the New Democrats aren't viable to win here in Calgary alone. What that leaves us with then is a desire for new energy in the Alberta legislature. A party that truly represents our values and reflects who we are as a community in Calgary alone. Someone who's from our community, someone who's born and raised here, someone who's raising his children here as I was raised here, someone whose family has deep roots and connections and understands what it means to be a part of the community, someone who experienced the greatest natural disaster in Canadian history on a first-hand basis. I've stood up for our community. I have a track record of doing that. My entrepreneurial values, I think, are a good fit and a good connection with the spirit that has made Alberta such a great place to be. I have a great, deep appreciation for what it is to live in this community. I feel incredibly fortunate. So, John, we do need to send a message. We need to send a message that we want something better, something moderate, something fiscally responsible, a party that is fiscally responsible and socially moderate and connected to our communities. That's who I am. That's who the Alberta Party is. And on October 27th, I ask for your vote. Thank you. And the rest of the